With Zohran Mamdani, a democratic socialist and rising political figure, positioned to become the next mayor of New York City, many are asking, what would the next 4 years look like under his leadership? Using historical data, economic patterns, and political analysis, this AI-generated prediction explores how Mamdani's policies could transform NYC. Let's dive in. Who is Zohran Mamdani? Zohran Mamdani is a member of the New York State Assembly and a self-identified democratic socialist affiliated with the Democratic Socialists of America, DSA. He's been vocal on key issues like housing justice, police reform, public transportation, and wealth redistribution. His political style echoes leaders like Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but with a sharper focus on municipal action. If elected mayor, Mamdani could attempt one of the boldest left-wing agendas ever seen in a U.S. city. Housing, a shift to social housing. Expect housing policy to take center stage. Mamdani has long advocated for a radical expansion of affordable housing. Under his leadership, NYC could shift funding from tax incentive-based development to municipally owned housing, similar to Vienna's successful social housing model. The AI predicts a potential freeze or rollback on rent increases in rent-stabilized units, expansion of tenant protections and eviction moratoriums, strong resistance from real estate developers leading to legal challenges. This would mark a clear departure from the real estate-friendly policies of previous administrations like Bloomberg or Adams. Policing and criminal justice reform, public safety policy would look dramatically different. Mamdani has supported defunding or reallocating NYPD resources. AI projects, at least a 15–20% reduction in NYPD budget within his first year. Reinvestment of those funds into mental health services, community outreach, and violence interruption programs. While supporters say this will address systemic issues, critics warn it could lead to spikes in certain crime categories if not balanced with robust social investment. The key risk, public backlash if crime rises, especially among swing voters. Transportation, the socialist subway? Another major priority is public transportation. Mamdani has proposed making the MTA free for all riders. Using economic forecasting, AI predicts a massive funding challenge requiring new taxes on millionaires, corporations, or real estate. Potential increase in city income tax rates to subsidize fare elimination. Public approval, especially among low-income and working-class voters. This bold move would position NYC as the first major U.S. city with fare-free transit, if it's financially viable. Tax policy, redistribution on a city scale. To fund his agenda, Mamdani would likely push for aggressive tax reform. AI models predict proposals for a municipal wealth tax on ultra-high net worth individuals, increased scrutiny and enforcement of corporate tax avoidance, new vacancy and pied-à-terre taxes on luxury real estate. While these policies could bring in significant revenue, they risk capital flight, wealthy individuals and businesses relocating to lower tax cities like Miami or Austin. This would test NYC's ability to balance equity with economic stability. Education and social services expansion. Education would likely see sweeping reforms. Expect expanded funding for public schools with a focus on lower-income neighborhoods. Increased hiring of counselors, social workers, and mental health professionals in schools. Push for tuition-free CUNY and greater support for adult vocational training. Healthcare access might also be expanded, possibly through a citywide single-payer pilot program, though legal and logistical barriers would be immense. Business and the gig economy. Mamdani's platform is less business-friendly than predecessors. AI predicts stricter regulations on Amazon, Uber, and DoorDash operations. Push for unionization rights among gig workers. Resistance to large corporate development projects unless tied to strict labor and housing conditions. This could make NYC less attractive to major tech firms, but potentially more equitable for low-wage workers. Climate and infrastructure. AI projects a major investment in green infrastructure. Mamdani may propose a Green New Deal for NYC, including retrofitting public housing for energy efficiency. Expansion of bike lanes, green spaces, and renewable energy jobs. Phasing out fossil fuel infrastructure and penalizing heavy polluters. The estimated cost would run in the tens of billions, but federal and state partnerships could ease the burden. Potential challenges and backlash. Despite good intentions, AI predicts significant headwinds, media hostility from mainstream outlets, intense lobbying from real estate, finance, and police unions, legal battles over budget reallocation and housing mandates, risk of recall efforts or lawsuits from interest groups. Public patience may wane if improvements aren't immediate, especially around crime and economic performance. National and global impact. If successful, Mamdani's NYC could become a blueprint for urban socialism, inspiring similar movements in cities like Chicago, San Francisco, and Boston. But if it fails, it could sour Americans' appetite for leftist policies and empower conservative challengers in future elections. Final thoughts. In the end, artificial intelligence predicts that a Mamdani-led New York City would be a bold experiment in democratic socialism. It could lead to groundbreaking reforms in housing, policing, and public services, but not without significant financial and political risk. The next 4 years could transform NYC into either a model of equitable progress or a cautionary tale of overreach. Which path will it take? Only time and the people will decide. Like and subscribe to AI Daily Impact for all this artificial intelligence.